Greetings, folks. We are here at the premiere of a campaign on this channel. I am ridiculously excited, as this is the first time that I will have actually hosted a thing that goes on for more than one session, and so I'm very pleased. I am I am someone who has a frog in his throat, apparently. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns. And we're going to be playing the Cold Ruins of Lastlife, which is a setting for Dungeon World. And so the playbook that my character comes from will be the Paladin. And let's go around and just introduce ourselves. Charlie.
Hi, I'm Charlie. Guess she, her, and I will be playing the mage.
And Rachel.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel, she, her pronouns, and I will be playing the hunter.
And Lloyd.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lloyd, and I'm he, him, and I'll be playing the brutes.
Excellent. And our GM, Mathias.
Hello, I'm Mathias, he, him. And yeah, we'll be playing Dungeon World, but in particular, the supplement Cold Ruins of Lastlife, which means that this world is already over. This world has already fallen and lies in ruin. We will be exploring what the last remnants of this world are, which are undead, left with like a shred of agency, what they may or may not remember, and discover about the past, and if there's any hope for something new. We aim to play to find out where these husks and hollows might have come from, what moved them, and what potentially new can awaken in them. We will also explore what happened to the world they inhabited and what may come from its ruins. So the tone of the game is kind of bleak. We start out at everything is already bad, and it's got this kind of vibe to it where time has already lost all its meaning, right? Spatial relationships may be weird and strange and more metaphor than actual geography. It's filled with vague echoes of the past and with only like a 10 years potential for the future. And these lovely folk here will all embody one of these echoes, and we'll see how that goes. So everybody is undead, which...
Yes.
Yes. Which also, that brings up a couple of subject matter things. Well, for one, everybody's undead, and that can be kind of weird and strange, and but also the game will be much about unveiling old tragedies and atrocities. Like seeing what was once glory and glorious and beautiful is now in ruin. So yeah, there may be some dark, some graphic, some body horror, some violence as well. But we've set up for us a Lines and Veils document, so we kind of know where we can go. But there's also stuff that we might only find out during the game, and for that we are going to be using a couple of cards as safety tools to help us, particularly the X card. The X card is we come across anything that you can't have in the game. You can X card that, either go like that on stream, or put an X in chat, or say I want to X card that, or we've got a little bit of technical help here as well with the cards, where you can just press one of the overlay ones and it pops up in chat for everybody. Shout out to Summer from Off the Table, who whose nice coins I get to use as the graphics for those. So that's the X card. No question asked. We just go back a little bit, find a different way for the narrative. The O card is for, oh yes, this is getting to a tense emotional place for me, but it's good. I want to keep going. It's telling the other person, I might be sitting here crying, but I'm loving it. Let's go on in that direction. And the end card is a card where if you're kind of feeling on edge, this might head into a territory where you feel you don't want to go. It's it's a warning sign for us to know, maybe slow down a little bit, pay more attention to the to what's going on with the other players there. Yeah, so that's safety tools. So today will mostly be about kind of exploring, finding out where we actually are, who these characters kind of are, and what the world is about. Have all of you played Dungeon World before?
Yes.
Never as a player, actually.
Oh, okay.
I have.
So that's fun.
So if there's like any questions at any point, just interrupt. It's cool. It's on the face of it, everything. Basically, you just need to describe what you want to do. It's my job as the GM to call out, oh, well, that triggers a certain move, and then we go to the mechanics, do the procedure there, and that will feed back into the faction. It's kind of important in the sense of when we, if you need to get something done, if you want to get something done in the world, it's less picking from a list of things from a character sheet. It's more actually trying to go do that in the world, and it's my job to say when the mechanics are triggered or not. That said, if you want to go and say like, oh yeah, I think I really want to need to do this move here, that's fine as well. Being explicit about what move you're trying to hit is completely fine. So there are a couple of differences that come with the supplement. I think the main ones I'm just going to shout out now, and we'll revisit them once they come up and play. So you still have your XP track, but you have two other tracks that you will collect or level up on, and those are called Radiance and Memory. And Memory is all about remembering the past glory, remembering what happened with the world. That is now Lastlife, whatever it may have been before. And Radiance is all about, okay, well, what new thing can be built from this mess we're in? Like, what new light inside you can you find? The Spout Lore and Discern Realities have been replaced with a very similar, but a little bit different kind of move. That will give you more agency in like making things fact in the world. Yeah, and every character is undead, so I'm sure we'll see. Like, you can't die as usual in Dungeon World, but you can still get destroyed. We'll see what happens when we get there. There's no alignments, and that has been exchanged by drives. And there's no race. You're all undead. And the bonds are special Cold Ruins of Lastlife bonds. Yeah.
I just
Are there any questions thus far?
Yeah,
What setting or yeah?
I was just joking. I just listed on my character sheet. I listed my race as ended.
Yeah.
My race is dead AF. So
I just went for normal undead, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Perfectly normal.
So any questions about the setting at this point? Like, it's very vague, I know.
well, the whole point is that we're going to be learning more.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what came before the fall. We don't know who built all these buildings that we'll be finding in, what government was in place or who were its rulers. Probably none of the denizens know that we might come across, or they might know pieces or lies or whatever. This just a couple of like universal truths for the history of Lastlife, which is so before the fall, these weren't ruins. They were all magnificent and great. We don't know what brought about the fall, but the world died. It is now dead. We do not know for how long it's been dead. That's indeterminate. It's also unimportant. It's so functionally, it has been forever and no time at all since the world died. Yeah. So now we will go and actually have a look at your characters. Everybody has their playbooks, right?
Yep.
And for character creation, you work through those basically roughly up to choosing bonds.
Let me go ahead and get both of these things. I've got my Dungeon World playbook open, and I've got my character sheet open, and I just realized I need to grab the Lastlife sheet as well and open that just to make sure I have that in front of me.
The Lastlife sheet that has like looks if you want to pick some undead stuff.
I've already picked everything. I love character creation. I would do it all the time if I could, and I have So except for bonds, I have everything.
I'm actually the same way as well. I have everything but bonds.
Okay, great. And you all have, you've all. Sometimes what's in Dungeon World, it gets a little confusing with the stats and modifiers, but I think everybody.
I just don't think about it.
No, I mean like, right. The big number and the small number and but the cheat takes care of that, I guess.
Yeah. Thank goodness, because I know I couldn't do it on my own.
Some of you get to pick a move, some of you don't, but I think everybody's got that down as well already.
I've got my my base moves down. I didn't see any choices as far as stuff I'm supposed to do at the beginning, aside from like equipment and stuff, and I did that. So I think I'm good there.
Well, everything good for you, Charlie, as well?
I think so.
Yeah, then I think we can go around and do like a little bit of a deeper introduction, which would be, saying your character's name again. That's also an important thing that we've all got now, I think. Like one or two sentences about the concept. You don't have to go deep there or reveal too much.
One or two sentences.
Oh, here we go.
Can I not? It's fine.
You'll get more room during
play. Yep.
During play, yeah. Just for people to know, so how because then we're going to go around again and start choosing bonds, and that will help people come to terms with who they might want to choose. Yeah, maybe let's start with you, Lloyd. Do you want to give a rough introduction?
You're gonna start with the person who's the least prepared amongst them. Okay, no, it's fine. It's cool. Yeah, sure. We'll start with Lloyd. Yeah, why not? Well, fine. So, sometime during the time before the Last Life became ruins, there was a battle of some point. I don't know who the battle was. I don't know why the battle was. I don't know how many sides were at the battle. But at the end of the battle, there were waves of battlefields covered in the dead bodies of fallen warriors, soldiers, and what have you. Innocent, not innocent, it didn't matter. That's where I came from. When we first gained conscious, we were buried under a pile of a heaping pile of bodies on a desecrated battlefield somewhere next to some ruin for some fight that's long forgotten. I crawled out from underneath the darkness that was piles and piles of dead soldiers upon me. And when I came to, I discovered what I was. I am what feels like living armor. I'm encased in multiple parts of broken armor from multiple people, held together by weird, dark stitchings. My inside, there is nothing but a black void, except for my eyes, of which there are two large, burning, glowing flames that sits within the helmet armor that I sometimes push up to speak to people. I don't know where I'm from. I don't know what I am. I don't know what we are, if I am just a me or a we or a there. But I adopted the name Legionnaire because it was the last thing I remembered someone saying, at least before my previous life before I came to this. Now I wander the ruins of Last Life, trying to find some meaning to my existence.
Good point there, by the way. What pronouns these characters would use?
Legion will go with a they, them.
Nice.
Rachel, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I don't have a cool introduction. My character, I just am very.
That's what you get. That's what you get. Yeah.
So I am playing a character named Sivna. They also use they, them pronouns. It's because conceptually they've been dead for so long that gender and that stuff doesn't even apply to them anymore, they think. So yeah, I'm playing a bog mummy, which is a body that's been mummified in a bog. And they just woke up and now they're in this world that is unfamiliar in many different ways to them, because not only do they not remember anything from their life pretty much, but also it is not anything like their life and everything is dead and it's awful for them. So they're Grumpy Gus and I love them so much. And also they're really ugly.
Yeah. Nice. Charlie?
I'm playing a character named Auden, she, her. Basically, she has been perfectly frozen and preserved when she died, whatever that was. She has extremely icy and blue skin. She's always cold. Her hair is probably like white. She doesn't know who did this to her, but someone else did it. That's all I got.
That's perfectly fine. We'll find out more. So, yeah. Jim, tell us about Gregor.
Okay, so yeah, I'm playing Gregor. He uses he, him pronouns, although at this point he doesn't really think much about these things. It's just what he's used to. It's what he remembers, because he doesn't remember a lot. Gregor is not unlike Legionnaire. He's also in armor a lot. but you can at least see him. He is kind of ethereal. He does have a physical presence, but just sort of when you look at him, he's just basically very just sort of bluish white skin, and his eyes are burning pinpricks within what could have been regular eyes at one time. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if he's a phantom or a cadaver. It's there's always sort of a mist about him, and he wears. He knows that he was a knight, and he was very much devoted to his deity, which I have yet to decide exactly the details of said deity, but he's at this point feels as though that there are greater evils to defeat now even than before, and is trying to find some sort of semblance of just whatever he can cobble together from what he had and has lost horribly to try to make his life make sense now.
Don't you mean your unlife?
Yes, that mostly, pretty much. There is no life. There is only unlife.
Nice, I know it.
His if he had an alignment, it would be lawful obsessive.
If Sidna had an alignment, it'd be bitch.
That's actually an excellent point. I loved all these introductions. It also sounds like you haven't had to make an important choice yet in the character creation that you wanted to tell us about, everybody, right? So, what are all your drives? What did you pick for that? Because that's what basically what replaces alignment in Cold Ruins, and there's a list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the alignment that I picked for Sidna was discover a truth of the world before the fall. This is kind of because of all the time that has passed between their death and now their undeath, that they're like, what happened? Like, what is even going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that's their alignment. And hopefully some truths about himself.
And yeah, and
it's only one of them.
And if you hit that drive at the end of a session, you'll get XP for it. Just that's the mechanical bit to that. Has everybody else picked one already?
I've picked one, yes, actually.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was going to go with, let me read this properly. Dramatically ignore precedents, tradition, and history. When the Legionnaire woke up, he doesn't know they don't know what they are, they don't know why they are, but they know that what they did beforehand was not working. So tradition, history, whatever it is, doesn't matter to them. They want something new. They want to try and create something different.
Okay, I love that. That's already setting you both up to potentially, not opposed, but maybe kind of at odds with each other.
Well, if we weren't at odds, it wouldn't be fun, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And he goes by the Legionnaire or a Legionnaire?
The Legionnaire, but you can call him Legionnaire.
Yeah, French just go A-League.
Cool, you can call him Leggy. Leggy's alright. Leggy's kind of alright. He's like, Leggy's cool. You call me Leggy, whatever. That's all good. Yeah, for you, Gregor, you can call me Leggy.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I'll say, I picked also for Gregor. His drive is destroy something corrupted by the fall.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I haven't decided what it is yet, but just something ain't right, and he's got to put it right because it's not the way he remembers it.
You'll try to find something to destroy each session. Hopefully, it's not none of your friends.
Hopefully not. No. As long as they're not corrupted, everything will be fine.
I chose restore something tarnished and damaged.
Oh, okay. That's actually super interesting. Because, right, as the mage, we haven't really talked in depth about this. But as the mage, if you look at the playbook, where do I have it? I've got it here somewhere. There's the spell focus thing, right?
Yeah.
And well, you need to pick a focus. Say how you're aligned and what is opposed to you. If you want, there's after the playbook, there's like just a list where you could just pick.
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
I picked the winter.
Exactly. So then you have opposed create or empower life or or showing generosity.
Yeah, I feel like anything that she wants to fix will be kind of selfishly done.
Yeah, nice.
Sidna and Auden are either going to be best friends or absolutely hate each other.
I feel it.
Two selfish people. Love it.
Good. Okay. Then bonds. Let's move on to bonds. Or is there any question about these from you? Because I think it'll be interesting to find out what this means. But at the moment, as a little background, like you maybe don't know yourself why you have this kind of drive, right? Part of the point of the game is to play to find out why you're driven this way, or you have this innate feeling of or need to go there. So we need to go around with bonds, but I'm kind of open in what order. So if someone already has something that has jumped out at them that they want to suggest to someone else. Because this will kind of establish your initial relationships between the characters. Otherwise, I would suggest we just go backwards. So starting with Jim.
Okay. Sorry. I'm like doing 93 million things in the background. Okay.
If you want, we can skip you for the moment.
I mean, I can. I can totally do something. So we're picking bonds. Yes, that is correct. Okay. So let me find ye bonds. Over on ye book of Lastlife. You see here. No, it's not too far from the front here. Bonds. Here we go. Lastlife bonds. There are so many. I'm not actually sure which one I want. I could just sort of grab one at random and just and point to someone randomly.
You just have to remember that I have been dead for a very long time, and have only not been as dead recently.
I think something. Well, not to immediately put myself at odds with someone. But I'm looking. My eyes have fallen on this, and so I think we're going to try. Why not? Why not, indeed? Because, of course, we're going to do this. So I think I'm going to say that the Legionnaire and I once believed in the same ideals in the days before the end. We have diverged now, and I no longer understand them.
I think I'm down with that. That makes sense to me, especially given my background.
Yeah. It's like, I think I know who you are. I may be wrong. But something I remember about you, or some part of you, is that we used to roll together or something, and it's like, now it's so different. So very different.
What's especially interesting about this, it could just be that you see a certain someone.
Yeah.
But that's maybe not all that the Legionnaire is, right?
Yeah.
Kind of sound like the Legionnaire might be an amalgamation of many people.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, so it's like, I think that there's like, maybe the person that I knew is still in there, but maybe not. We don't know.
Yeah.
I like that idea. So I'll take that as a bond. I will put that on my sheet somewhere.
Well, as a bond.
Right now
It's on the right side of the sheet.
Yeah.
Right of the sheet alignment
it's on
and
there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's add them each time. I'm going through it one by one, trying to make sure it's all right.
This is one of the better, like, Power by the Apocalypse character sheets. There are a couple out there that are just like,
Kill me!
yeah.
The sheet pleads with you. Excellent. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm putting that in there.
I've almost got my bonds done. I just got one more to do.
All right. That's what I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think maybe I should talk about two of mine while I'm here. So, since you already mentioned it, Gregor and I shared a bloodline in the days before the end.
Oh, good lord.
We do believe that bond between us still matters.
You do believe or you don't?
We choose to believe.
Oh, okay.
Still matters that we're still brothers, even if I'm not who I used to be and he's not who he used to be, but we share the bloodline. Which are time of what you are. So now, see, we're almost like brothers, but are we really brothers? Because I don't know how many we are, and you don't really know what I was before you, and then but there's some connection between us.
I like it.
I can't pronounce Subini's name, so
It's pronounced it's Sivna because it's Celtic.
Sivna?
Yeah, because I'm dramatic and I like weird, complicated names. Yeah, Sivna.
Okay.
That's how it's pronounced.
So me and my girl Sivna. So I still seem to be my girl Sivna, in the hood.
Not a girl, but
yeah. Sivna, they still seem to believe you're they them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They still seem to believe that the world is today as it was in the days before the end. We will educate them about the truth of the new world.
This
I like
is
that.
Yeah, I like that too because Sivna,
I don't know anything.
there's like a big chunk of history that you can't know anything about because you were already dead while the world was still okay.
Yeah.
I'm still working on my last two. I'm kind of throwing up and down as to what should come in, so I'm like, we'll talk about it.
I'm just writing this down.
I just realized I've got 4 bonds on my sheet, on the Paladin sheet, so I'm going to need to make more.
Well, if there's more bonds than there are people playing, to fill that extra one.
So if we can stop at 3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm okay doing up to 4, guys. I'm okay with 4.
Yeah, if you've got a 4th one and something jumps out at you, please.
4th with random NPC or 2 with 1 person. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, Auden, do you have an idea?
Yeah, I think I picked out 3. The first one I put was, I remember what a danger the Legionnaire was in the days before the end. I will not let them become that way again.
Nice.
And then I did Gregor once knew the secrets of the kingdom. I will get those from them somehow. I need them. And then in the days before the end, Sivan was a noble soul. I fear this will taint them.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, you would. I love it. Yeah.
I like the idea because everyone else, whether they remember it or not, did see the world end, and I didn't.
Yeah, that kind of makes you.
I'm the oldest,
innocent.
but I'm also the most naive, right?
Yeah. Nice.
I guess that puts that on me to choose them, to say some. So I have to rephrase mine because I've been dead for so long. I had one where it was like I want to say for Auden, I believe that Auden was strange and foreign in the days before the end. Even now, I still find them unnerving and discomforting.
It's fair.
I've actually got one for Auden too. Actually, now I brought it up because she does not trust me for the terrible things we did to them in the days before the end. We do not blame them. I don't know what I did, but it must have been really bad. And I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
Where was that? Oh yeah. I think, and this can actually be from an historical perspective, if need be.
Are there legends of Sivna?
Yeah, I think I remember what a danger Sivna was in the days before the end. I will not let them become that way again.
That was already.
Or was that already taken?
already
Damn.
taken.
Oh, sorry. I am. Let me know if I'm trying to take one that's already been taken because I'm trying. I don't want to do that. Okay, we will not do that then.
It's a lot to keep track of at once.
I just suddenly realized that, and I'm like, oh crap! I hope somebody's writing this down.
Well, you should all be writing your own bonds down because they will affect how you can roll for aid and other in the game.
Yeah, because I'm writing mine. I'm recording mine on my sheet, and I've got one. I need two more. So in that case, give me that. Has everyone already? Is it down to me? Has everyone already picked?
No, I haven't. I still have some.
Okay, I'm gonna need a second to figure out one. I will start vetting them and ask if they are taken before I go leaping in.
I've grabbed my 3, and there's not a player characters left, so there is one I really wanted to take, but I'll wait for him to pick this one.
Okay.
I have one. I just need to figure out how to phrase it.
Which one is it?
I want to say one for Gregor, which is the order that he belongs to. There's one that has about divinity kind of thing. Let me find it. Oh, it says, I want to say, I remember the drive and rhetoric of the paladins of Gregor's god in the days before the end. I will follow them in their vision wherever they lead me.
Okay, that's super interesting. I love this. It's not going to be in the days before the end. It will be in your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was still the days before the end.
they were, yes, but then
Like
just a couple of days before the end.
Yeah, no. It's a couple of,
But
well, definitely centuries.
this is
Maybe
super.
millennia.
Yeah, this is super juicy though because it tells us already that whatever church or religion Gregor has been a part of was around for like forever already in the world. And it was a religion that you followed too, Sivna.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know if I followed the religion, but I respect the religion.
Yeah, that order. But who's to say that the order
didn't.
around in your time was
It's
really
same
the
value.
same kind of thing?
Yeah.
But like they might be using similar symbolisms and and stuff like that, but they might have changed immensely. But you all don't remember much about what actually happened and what the actual history of the world was. This could be whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't think this one's taken yet. The one of giving to me my current weapon, is that still on the table?
I think it is. Yeah. What is it again?
Blank gave to me my current weapon in the days before the end. I am sworn to use it in their service. I will uphold that vow. And I was going to say that about Auden.
What's your current weapon, though?
It is. I took halberd. Instead of going with the traditional sword and board, I decided someone with the sort of the knight with a polearm type thing.
Is there something... that's a question for both of you, basically. Would there be something that would make it obvious this is a weapon that was given to you by Auden? And Auden, because you apparently, or seemingly, gave it to him, you can chime in here, right?
Well, my thing was that he knew the secrets that I want now from the past. Maybe it was like trying to gain favor.
Oh well, yeah. It gave to me my weapon before the end. Is kind of how it's phrased. So this would have been before even the apocalypse happened or whatever it was. That apparently I think that you gave me this weapon, this halberd, halberd, lance, whatever, and.
Are there like special demarcations on it that?
I think so. I mean, there's probably something indicative of like her. If she, I don't know, does Auden have like a banner or some other, or a symbol or a coat of arms or something along those lines?
Maybe like a family crest or something.
Yeah. So it's like there's maybe something that's. It's maybe that there's like something, maybe not the crest itself on it, but something from their manufacturers or something like that, or there's something special maybe about the weapon that makes it like very much keyed as a thing of your house. Was there something that your house fancied as a particular for their crest or symbol or something?
She's a maid, so maybe it could just be like a specific flower or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's on it's a halberd, right?
Yeah.
If that's like very prominent on the axe blade of the halberd. Like an engraving of it, of that flower.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Actually, Jim is now looking up halberd so that he knows exactly what he's talking about. It looks like an axe. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
so
on
a
the
pole
blade.
weapon,
Yeah.
right? It's
so maybe there's like that flower symbol is on the blade, like on the side of the blade.
I like that.
Yeah.
I believe that I have the bond that I want to use with Legionnaire. Woo! And that one is the Legionnaire knows more about me and who I was in the days before the end than I do. I will get them to tell me. Is that okay? And in the days before the end, what knows more about me and who I was in the days that I lived, kind of thing.
I am perfectly fine with this. However, you're going to have to make sure you tell me, because if I make some stuff up and it's horribly wrong, I'm really sorry. I don't mind. If you want to go for it, I'll be like, yes, you used to be a beautiful princess who lived upon...
I don't think... no. I'm more of a garbage person who crawled out of a swamp. I crawled out of a swamp, literally. I literally crawled out of a swamp.
You were born to be trash. I'm sorry. That's why I'm not telling you, because it's hard to tell trash. Yeah, I mean, I'm down with it. I mean, as long as I get worried if people rely on me for background, there might be something up, it might not be fitting, and I'm like, I'll do my best.
Yeah, the way we'll handle it, I think, is just going to be collaborative.
Okay, got it.
Where not one person is sitting like it's going to get put on the spot and has to choose the right thing.
And when you were 12, you picked up ballet.
I don't think the ballet was invented in the Iron Age.
You don't know that.
Iron Age ballet.
Ballet.
Can you imagine?
Bog ballet.
Bog ballet.
Yes. No, okay. I'm remembering a thing that I said earlier that I will talk to you about later. Sorry, there was sorry. Brain filtering in 20 directions at once. No, I think that's really cool, by the way, because where am I? Oh yeah, because pieces of the Legionnaire could be older than other pieces, basically. So there could be parts of them that are that were contemporary, even to Sivna, because that who knows how many different how old the parts are, basically.
Well, it gets even more weirder. I mean, if we go full Dark Souls, we don't know exactly when the Legionnaire, the things that are inside the Legionnaire, actually became dead. If we go all Dark Souls, it could be people who have not died yet who are inside him, or people who've died before they're inside him, and it gets really complicated. And my brain will just be like, I can't roleplay this. But like, it's up to us how we want to go with it.
Do you want a fun fact about me is that the only Dark Souls I've seen is speed runs, so I know nothing about Dark Souls.
It's like this: you die a lot.
Yeah.
Also, the law means time doesn't really matter. People who live today and people who lived 2,000 years ago could be walking in the street at the same time, and no one understands why. Time and place and space is wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. Whatever. That'll do.
Yes.
Okay.
I got one more I gotta pick out. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that sweet bond.
We can stop at 3 per person.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I still don't have a bond from Gregor.
Yeah, I need to get a bond to Sivna.
Sivna is the best. I love her. They. I love them. They're the best. Bond done. So.
There's actually one that I saw that I think I guess I'm gonna have to go with, but which is also once again to create conflict, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, I have to find it on the list again because I saw it and I thought, oh, maybe that one, and now I have to. Let me see here. And this involves a far-reaching thing.
We can reword it.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. He says, trying desperately to free Jazz while doing this.
Is it the I Know a Deep and Terrible Secret?
It's close to that one. It's not that one exactly. It's the one about I think they're responsible for the world being the way it is now.
Oh, that's possible.
Has that one been taken yet?
I don't think so.
Nope.
It's on the list. I know it's on there somewhere. I saw it.
It says, like, I have no proof, but I remember what blank was doing in the days before the end. I blame them for the ruin that followed.
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one. Thank you. Yes. So I have no proof, but I remember what Sivna was doing in the days
before
historically before their end. and I blame them for the ruin that ultimately followed.
Okay. So, all in all, what I'm hearing here is that Sivna is part of the origin story of your order and religion.
It's entirely possible.
That's what I'm getting to.
Well, what's weird is that apparently we used to be our order used to be buddies with him, but with Sivna, but now we.
Well, they respect your order, which would make sense if you're an order of in their name.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe. Well, yeah.
I'm just going on like a little mini face journey here.
Because it's one of those things where it's like historically, I think that whatever they did was the catalyst that ultimately centuries later led to the downfall of the world.
In your opinion.
Yeah.
In my character's opinion. My character has no proof. So this might not even be something that my order majorly believed. But it's something that maybe there was like apocrypha or something that suggested that actually was the ultimate cause, and that there may be perhaps we may be at a point where we're dealing with a still going on apocalypse at this point because Sivna has returned. I don't necessarily want to make it that bad, but let's say that I'm wary.
Okay. Yes, I love it.
I also like that a lot. That's why, when I said it, I was like, this has to be it, right?
Yes,
this has to be it.
That is the one. That's the one. Okay. Put that down.
Yeah.
I think I've spelled Legionnaire about 5 different ways on this sheet. But besides that, I'm good.
As someone whose name is Sivna, I'm not going to try looking it up because you know what? No, I'm not going to do that.
I looked up Legionnaire before I wrote it down on something because I knew I would have to.
You're a smarter man than me.
Nah, just more paranoid.
On, did you... Oh, you wrote it down on probably for yourself, not in the sheet?
Yeah, like half of my keys don't work, so I have to wait to type everything up later.
Oh, okay. I was just going through everybody to see where we're at numbers wise.
I have all 3.
You have all 3, okay. All right. So if we've got all 3, or at least 3 for everybody, then we can actually jump into Lastlife and see where we're at. Maybe.
Yeah.
I have a few game-wise actually.
Sure.
How do we gain these memory and improvement things? Because I don't actually know how that works.
So there are a couple of ways, but the main way is Spout Lore and Discern Realities have been replaced. Spout Lore has been replaced by Recall a Memory of Lastlife. And on a 10 plus, you earn a memory. And Discern Realities has been replaced by Study the Ruins of Lastlife. And there it's the same. You earn Radiance. And then if you're either at 5 memory or 5 Radiance, there's a list of basically improvements you get to pick from. And Radiance memory can be kind of opposed to each other, so we'll see where that takes us. And actually, we'll get into this at the very beginning. You'll have a chance to earn your first points right at the start by a move that will start things off for us. Sidmic, is that enough thus far? Or cool.
I'm good. Let's roll.
Good. So I think we start off where we can see the stars in the night sky. And then we seemingly at first we move through some clouds that are strangely lit from a light source somewhere off in the distance. And as we realize we're actually moving really fast, like falling. And below us opens up is a sea of, it looks like black inky water. And just before we might be dropping right into that black inky ocean, we like barely scrape the wave surface and start flying, and we kind of can see on the horizon a dawn breaking. And the other thing we can see on the horizon is, after a while, what looks like a shoreline of cliffs. And we're flying really fast at this point. And as we're coming up on the shoreline of cliffs, we can make out what looks like a huge manor, which sits on an impossible edge on the cliffs itself. Like it looks like part of it is actually overhanging. Like no one would have ever built it like this. It looks like if you took a model piece of a building and set it down in a landscape right at the edge of the ocean. So just like the little glimpse we get on the Roll20 there. And as we're coming up close, we can make out two things. I think we see a figure standing on a balcony, with her white hair fluttering in the wind. And as we rest and linger there, we can also make out at the foot of the manor, in the stonework or in the rocks themselves, there's a gutter or something, and there's waves breaking against the gutter, water splashing into there. Now, each of you on your sheet has a move called, I think I called it First Awakening or something like that. Mm-hmm. Don't press it yet. Where do I have it here? I'm going to read it out loud for everyone, and then I'll talk about how we're going to do this. So, the move reads, when you awaken for the first time, describe a memory of something banal from whence you were alive. Then roll +Wiz and open your undead eyes. On a 10+, you get to choose 2. On a 7, 2, 9, 1. And the options are: you recognize something about or in one of the companions when you first see them. Ask them what truth you understand about them. Or you remember something significant from the old world before the fall, a hint for how to rebuild. What bit of history, tradition, of its glory and wonder do you recall? Mark 1 memory. Or you feel a driving need that fills the hollow inside you. Describe how you display this impulse right then and there, and how it propels you forward. Mark 1 radiance. On a 6-, still choose 1, but you're also stricken with dread, fear, loss, or rage by it. Describe how it is unmistakably showing too. So the way we're going to do this, the idea here is you'll get to like describe something seemingly or probably not really important, but that you feel like, oh yeah, that says at least something about maybe the life that you had. And then it's going to be you who's going to be you'll be opening your eyes. I'll describe your surroundings and stuff and where you're at. And to give you a chance to think of something where you want to go or what you might even want to choose, we'll go around. Everybody will do the roll. Then we'll go on a break. And when we come back, we hear about that all. And then I'll have a place for each of you where you're at and who you're with. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds excellent.
Let's do it.
So you should be able to just click on the name of the move to get the roll.
Just go ahead and do it.
I'm gonna do it. I just need to like.
Yeah, first roll of the game.
Oh, nice. I got an 11. It's because wisdom is my best stat.
Ah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Come on. 3. Yeah!
We got 2 fails, baby.
Yeah, so Auden and Legionnaire, you both get to mark XP. Like, don't forget that.
Woohoo!
You have a question, Jim?
Oh, no, sorry. I was just... yes, XP! It's one of my favorite parts of Dungeon World. You learn from your failures.
Okay. Do you all understand the move and what to do or what you need to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I'll look forward to whatever kind of memory you have of something from your actual life.
Do we want to... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to go on break first before we come?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right. Well, we will take a quick break, like 5-10 minutes, and then we shall return. See you shortly, folks. we have returned. Hello.
Hey. Yeah, and hopefully everybody has thought of a memory. I think
I can go first because I got the 10+.
sure. Then we'll already handle a couple of what those things might mean. Yeah.
So the memory I have is I am sitting in the shade of a tree by the ocean on a sunny day, and I can hear chickens clucking in the background, and I can hear the soft crash of the waves on the beach. And I'm sitting on someone's lap, and they are braiding my hair.
I love it.
That is my memory. So the two things that I'm going to choose is I want to go with the first one just because I think it's going to be interesting because I've been dead for so long. Is you recognize something about or in one of the companions when you first see them. Ask them what truth you understand about them.
Perfect. We'll get back to that in a moment because that will tie in nicely for when you actually open your undead eyes.
Yeah, I figured it'd be nice. And then the other one I want to choose is you remember something significant from the old world before the fall. A hint for how to rebuild. What bit of history, tradition of its glory and wonder do you recall? Mark one memory. So what I think I remember is a beautiful city. And I remember the ruler of that city who was a kind and wise woman, but who is growing old. And so her hair has gone all gray and it's super long. And she's telling me about a kind of magic that I don't quite understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm listening intently to her, and it's something because she's been she's afraid of death, and so she's telling me about all this like research that she's been doing to try and stave off her own death, kind of stuff with magic. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is cool, I guess.
Do you have an idea for a name, maybe title, that you might be remembering of this person and maybe the city as well?
For the city, I don't know. I'm not good at place names.
Okay, well, that's fine. You can leave anything like that up to me.
I think the woman, nobody knows her personal name because she doesn't go by it. I think she goes by the title, which is the North Star's Chancellor.
Nice.
And most people just refer to her as the Chancellor.
Yeah.
One of us should go next.
I came up with a name for the city.
Okay, cool. I was looking for something like that.
Yeah, it's a weird city name. It's called the Celestial Brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Celestial Brand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we definitely have a sky thing, night sky thing going on there.
Well, it might. Yeah, it's just that place.
It's
Maybe.
just that place. Yeah. No, I like it.
Oh.
Cool. So first, the one thing, do you see those bubbles, the small bubbles, underneath your
Yes.
what's it called?
Underneath my token.
Yeah, exactly. Underneath your token, you can actually select that, and the lower one is for memory. And if you right-click and go to multi-sided and choose side, is that working for you?
Oh,
Oh, okay. Let me show everyone what we're talking about here.
it's a memory.
Yeah.
So you get, that way, get to keep track where you are.
Excellent.
Coolness.
And I think for your other result, we get this POV shot it's in the dark. Like we still have the sounds from the crashing waves fading, and then there's this splash of water that comes down through a grate that's high up on the wall, and your eyes flickering open, and as you push yourself up, you get a better view of what's in front of you. And I think I'd like to get a description, or if a more detailed description, because what you see on the wall of this wet, nasty little dungeon cell that you're in is Legionnaire chained up on the wall. Mm-hmm. What do they actually look like? And you're still not awakened yet. What does Sivna see? That's more a question for Lloyd to describe his character.
I'll say it's pretty dark, and I technically don't have eyes.
Oh yeah, also I don't have eyes.
You all have the abilities to sense, though.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And we'll get to that once Legionnaire gets to see what you look like in a bit.
So, Legionnaire, as chained up on the wall, is this 8-foot tall monstrosity of armor, padded together almost like small little patches. His gauntlets would be of one color and one type. His other hand would be of a bigger, more complicated gauntlet. Part of his armor is broken up into multiple different patchwork styles, and not in the form of actual half plate that half plate looks, because the plates are all different colors, different etchings, different symbols from different times, from different places, from different eras, all added together. Linking them up is this sort of dark gray black chainmail that radiates this horrible blackness that slowly kitches them together. You can see it almost moving and breathing of his chest as moving it out. Left behind finally is the helmet, this giant placed helmet with 2 wings, both broken and tattered and different colors on both sides like so, and the visor put down so you cannot see what's beneath until he opens his eyes and you can see what's beneath. And that's Legion. There's a Legionnaire. He's ready. What's up?
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Sivna, you recognize something about them as you first see them. You can ask what kind of truth you understand, or what's the truth that Sivna immediately recognizes and understands about Legionnaire, and that's more or less for you to decide, Lloyd. But we can.
Yeah. I don't want to decide anything about your character for you, so go ahead.
I was so you know what? I'm wild. Go for it. Let's do it. Decide for me. Screw it. Let's go.
Okay. The truth that I recognize about you is that in your cobbled together form, there are at least like 3 definite different entities kind of
Love it. Yes. Make this fact. Thank you.
Canon.
Yep.
3 entities. Done.
All right. And yeah, I think this is perfect to jump over to, and maybe this was the memory you already described in when you introduced your concept for your character, Lloyd.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, okay. I like
If
it.
you want to, or if you want to introduce another memory here, that's I like for Legion that the banal memory is battle.
Actually, I was gonna go for something mixed up with that because I failed the role and it has to be something that fills me with loss and rage and dread.
Yes.
So the banal, because it's a normal banal meeting. Also, part is that the Festival of the Fallen was taking place. 2 factions,
Yes.
2 names have been forgotten through time and space. Forgotten through time. Have a day where they're allowed to take their fallen brothers away from each other and just take a moment to reflect upon what's happened between them. The festival was today. We were to celebrate it together. One of us had been preparing a meal for the other, happy to bring them inside our home and welcome them to enjoy the meal. Something was wrong with the meal. Upon the taste of it, our tongues turned to ash, our skin turned gray, our eyes became sunken and swollen. Froth blew up from our nose and our mouths. They came to us. They took us. They slaughtered us. We repaid them in kind. On that same day, we slaughtered them. The war continued over and over from that one meal that we shared on the Festival of the Fallen, until finally, after everything had happened in between, there was nothing else left but battle, war, and the dead. And that's what I remember. That's the thing that fills me with rage and pain and loss as I open my eyes and scream this horrible, banal scream of the deaths that have just all plagued onto me that came from one person deciding to poison another.
What are your eyes like?
So, behind the visor, although it's slightly hidden, there's still lines so you can see the eyes. There is a flame, yet 2 yellow, horrible flames that flame up and they flicker with the wind.
Yeah. So they erupt with rage and
Yes.
Oh, I love that scene.
But they're chained to the wall, right?
Yeah, and I scream as I try and rip myself off the wall as strong as I can.
And you still get to choose one of those, though.
Yeah, I was going with, remember something significant from the old world before the fall, a hint on how to rebuild. That we refused the truce, and for us refusing the truce, a war destroyed us both.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I get one memory. Yeah!
Yes.
But I'm angry.
Yeah, that works for you as well. The rollable table.
Yep, I'll just get to it.
Okay. Just checking if it works for everyone. Okay, but we cut there. And we'll see what you're going to do about this situation in a moment. I think I want to go to Auden first. We've already seen a glimpse of Auden, but now we get a glimpse of a memory of hers.
Okay, the memory is that she's in this workshop and it's warm and there's magic in the air and she's helping someone, but she can't see their face, and it smells like the summer after a thunderstorm. And when she looks down, her hands are like crackling with purple energy. and then she's out of it.
And so the interesting bit is this memory leaves you with some kind of not that great of an emotion, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go with loss.
Yeah. And I think as you open your eyes, you see that vastness of the black, inky waters reaching from horizon to horizon as you're standing on the balcony of this manor. But you still get to pick another option, right?
Yeah, I gotta pick one, even though I failed. I was gonna pick you feel a driving need that fills the hollow inside you.
Okay, what is this need? I love that.
To figure out like what that magic was compared to what she feels now.
Okay, so that's what, like, from that memory sticks with you. The this magic must still be somewhere accessible to get at it, to find it, to rediscover it, or
yeah, like I kind of imagine like before the fall, she had a very different magic set than what she has now, and she feels this loss of like this idea of what it was.
Nice. Yeah, so you get to mark one radiance, and that's at the top one.
What is that again? I'm sorry.
So if you should be able to select those 5 bubbles on the top, above your token, on the Roll20 mat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if you right-click that, and go to multi-sided choose side, you get a slider that you can move one tick there.
Okay.
Nice. So once that fills up, you will get to choose a radiance improvement, which you can find those at your leisure in the handouts. Like I copied the text here as well, and they're also in the PDF handout that I gave you.
Okay.
And you marked XP, right?
Yes.
Great. Good. Yeah. Someone rolled a 729 though, right?
Yeah, I got a 9.
So what's the memory Gregor has?
So, the memory that he has before he awakens is that he's reading to someone at their bedside. He can't quite make out who it is, but it's someone he has some kind of very personal connection to. And he's reading some kind of an epic poem, or a poem in rhyme, basically, or a poem in rhyme, a rhyming poem, but that that tells a tale of something heroic that happened at one point, and he sees that it's like part of the way down the page that they've gone to sleep, and so he smiles, he closes the book. And he stands up, and as he's leaving the room from outside it, someone else speaks to him. And again, he can't quite make out who it is that's speaking to him in the memory. But apparently it's someone with whom he's familiar and expected to be there. And they say to him, "You're going back tomorrow, aren't you?" And Gregor says, yes, I have to. I have to try. And they say, you know what will happen to you if you return. And Gregor says, it doesn't matter. This is more important than anything else. And then the person to whom he's speaking asks, you know you can't save everyone, right? And Gregor just sort of smiles and says, can't I? And that's the end of the memory.
Nice. Which option do you want to pick?
I pick the... I'm going to take... you remember something significant from the old world before the fall. A hint for how to rebuild. And the thing that I'm remembering, because I have this book in my memory, I connected back and I remember there's a library. And I once knew where it was. It's somewhere close, and it contains knowledge that was important to my order.
Yes. It's called the August Library.
The August Library.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So I do this thing where I mark a memory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I choose side and 1? There we go.
Nice. And you open your eyes and you're sitting at a huge, large banquet table, which sits in an even larger room, and you're sitting on one side of it, or you're sitting like on towards one end, not at the actual end. You're just sitting on one side. Towards one end of it. And as you look up, like there's a soft breeze that hits you and draws your attention. And you look over and you see the doors swung open to a balcony. And what does Auden actually look like standing there on the balcony? What does Gregor see of her?
He sees a very tall, thin, icy form. She's wearing robes that were probably strange when she was alive and are still strange now, but they're a little more tattered. She's probably just staring out to wherever the sea still.
What do you do, Gregor?
So my eyes open and I just sort of I look down and I look down and I sort of reflexively reach forward to pick up there's an old dusty goblet sitting in front of me. And
and then there's also a plate, and I think it's a broken plate though. But as if someone had served you something, there lies a necklace on that plate.
So I instinctively reach forward to try to touch the goblet, and I sort of panic a little because I can't see my hand at first, but the goblet knocks over as though I'd bumped into it, and I look down and because I can only see sort of the armor, and I look down and my hand resolves itself and I can see it again. It's very pale, and I reach forward and I look up and I just very gingerly pick up the part of the plate with the necklace, And then I look over and I see Auden as, and I'm just sort of doing so. I'm looking up, and for some reason when my eyes are just sort of when I look up, my eyes sort of burst into these, just the centers of them come forward alive with these little blue pinpricks of light, and they become a little bit brighter than the eyes behind them, though the eyes are still there. But it's, it's again hard to see because I've got the I've got a helm up, but you can see my face, but it's the helm is up, and there's something that might be a single tear starts to come out and then vanishes because, what is it really?
Ephemeral.
Goes away to mist. And I just
what kind of armor are you wearing?
It's I want to say it's dark in color. It's looks very much like. Sorry, go ahead.
It's cool. Keep describing and what it sounds like as you stand up, because that's probably what Auden's going to hear behind her.
So it's it appears as though it's there's just, she hears this clank as I just sort of awkwardly get to my feet, as though there's rust and as though it hasn't moved for a while. So the armor was just sort of placed there a very long time ago and is now moving again. Perhaps with the body in it. I don't know. Perhaps I died there, or perhaps the armor was put there. We don't know. It just sort of gets up from the table, and it looks kind of like it's a sort of a dark gray color. That's almost. I want to say it's. Translucent is the wrong word, but it's if you look at it directly, it seems very faintly to be giving off some sort of light. That's because there's this miasma that comes out of the various joints all around it, and it's very. It seems as though it is fairly was at one time very beautifully sculpted and ornate. It has there is a symbol on the chest of of something that looks like it's a pattern on top of a comet that appears to be descending, a descending comet, to continue with our sky theme, which actually I guess I should say that I figured out the name of the order should it become relevant, but.
And Auden, if you turn around on that sound, that's, I don't know if you do, but if you do, that's what you would see.
Yeah, she would turn when she heard the noise.
Just sort of stare at each other awkwardly for a few seconds, and then I just sort of hold up the plate. I look and I say. And I said, "Did you lose something?"
I think I lost. Oh,
yeah.
Go on. I was just gonna say, I think I lost a lot of things.
Yeah. What's that necklace look like, Sivna? That he's holding up.
Is it my necklace?
Yes, it's not Auden's.
Well, it's less of a necklace and more of an amulet. The cord of it is animal sinew that has been twisted and tied, and it's kind of dry and a little bit stiff. And the pendant of it is the skull of like a small predator animal. I don't know if you would be able to identify, but it could be a cat or it could be a young fox. And the inside of it has been kind of cemented so that there's no holes that are open on it, and the eyes have been wrapped around with like a faded red fabric. And when you lift it up, you can hear something on the inside kind of shaking, like maybe sand or something like that.
This looks familiar. You know.
I think. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good.
No, all I do is I just hold the plate forward and I ask, "Do you know it?"
No.
And I think this is where we cut back to what's happening in this weird, icky little dungeon cell. So now, what are you doing as this monstrosity comes alive on the wall?
Am
I don't know how
also
you
chained up?
No, you were just lying on the floor.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the door of the dungeon cell and get out of there.
It's locked.
Oh, a dunk. I'm gonna shake it.
I think there's like rustling and but it on first test it seems fairly tightly in place. And what are you doing, Legionnaire? Are you still screaming or?
Yeah, well, I filled the row, so I'm going full rage and screaming and swinging and trying to pull this thing off the wall and just ranting as loud as I can. At the top of my voice, I'm desperately trying to get out, just wishing to be free and no longer restricted by the bonds that have left me here. I'm probably not being very nice to this lovely, lovely mummified lady who's just hanging out.
Lovely isn't the word that I would use to describe it, but
Yeah, I think that's a good point though, right? As you're getting some kind of awareness of your surroundings, Legionnaire, you see this creature at the door. What they look like?
So the first thing that you think of is, why is there just a leather something on the door that's standing up? The first time that you look at me, you don't see me as anything human or human-like. And then you look a little bit closer and you see the slits where the hollows of my eyes are, and you see my mouth where the skin is pulled up and reveals a set of half-rotting teeth. And you look and you see this skin that you realize is a person's skin, or it was a person's skin, and interlaced with strange leathers. And I'm all bones and sinew and dark kind of tanned look, as if I had been dyed by a tanner or a leather maker. And my bones at some points poke through the skin, and they're the same color as my skin. They're just smoother. And I'm wearing a fabulous fur coat. Because that's in my items. So it looks like a pile of leather bags stacked into the shape of a person wearing a very interesting fur cloak. And I'm shaking at this door.
Yeah, shaking at this door, trying to get it open, or
Yeah.
what's Legionnaire? You're struggling against your bonds.
I'm struggling, but I guess I'm slowly losing steam because I'm
Okay.
I'm sort of I'm sort of pausing a bit, then catching my breath, trying to be careful. And I sort of lift my head up, and the flames, my eyes dim down a little, and I go, "Creature."
You can speak?
As can you. Why am I bonded here?
I don't know. I'm... Hello? Hi. I just woke up.
I sort of look over and I sort of cock my head a little bit to the side. Like, just sort of taking their form in and what they are. I really don't have the rights to tell someone that they don't belong here in any shape or form whatsoever. And I sort of like pull my head up and I go, then we are both chained, although mine is more permanent.
And then there's
go on.
There's like a wash of water that comes through the grate up on top that like splashes between you two.
Oh.
I do not want to get wet.
Water is the least of our concerns. Free us from these bonds, and I will grant you a boon of your choosing.
I'll see what I can do. Can I go and inspect the bond, the chains holding them?
Yeah, yes, of course. So you move over closer to, and I think you can, and you kind of have to like pull yourself up on the stonework a little bit, right? And we get that image of you, like because I imagine you're fairly light.
Yes.
Yes. So you can even like cling to with like just a couple of fingertips onto a crevice in the stonework to inspect legion spawns.
Can I like put my knee out so she can stand on my knee to climb up because it looks cooler that way?
Yeah, definitely. Also, you're in the position to help then if we need it.
Yeah.
This sounds like you're trying to study the runes.
All right. I'm just gonna roll that. 8 on a hit, mark radiance. On a 7 to 9, ask 1. I'm going to ask. So I'm trying to figure out the chains and how I can get them.
Yeah.
Unlocked. And so I guess what I'm going to ask is, like, how can I take control here? Like, how can I figure this out?
I think as you inspect the bonds, you see like strange markings on them, or well, they look strange, I think, to Legionnaire, but not to you.
Okay.
They like basically what they say is very straightforward. They just say hold. And you remember like a couple of words from your time. And if you speak in your tongue, the bonds will just open.
I speak in my tongue, and it sounds. The way that it comes out of my, the words come out of my, my mouth, sound like very soft and like a little bit ethereal. That's my mother tongue.
Yeah, and I think you need to actually like repeat it once or twice before. Well, the question is, we don't know. Is it part of like how soft your voice and how removed your voice comes out of your throat, or is it that these bonds, so as old as they are, actually need to remember the magic that was woven into them?
I think it's the magic. Like they've been asleep for so long that they can't remember what the words are. So
Yeah.
I'm waking them up.
And then they snap open, and you basically have to leap backwards from Legionnaire, not to crash with them down. But I think you can probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
When I hit the ground, my armor actually separates a little, but then the dark binding just pulled them back together and like re-jigged them. So when I'm picking myself up, I'm like a mess. I'm not picking myself in a natural way. My body's just like reforming as I get up and straighten myself, and my armor would just stick itself back to no place. And I'll look down at the form of the creature and I'll go, we are not one to... What's the thing I'm looking for here? We are not one to not understand, not to give gratitude where it is deserved. Thank you.
You are welcome. And you said you'd grant me a boon?
I take a deep breath, and we take a deep breath and we go, whatever you wish.
Could you open this door?
Somewhere within the voice, there's a bit of a cackling joke, like a cackling laughter, as we go, as you wish, and we charge the door.
Yes, I guess you do.
I am going to smash into that obstacle in my way.
Yep. You have a move for that, yep.
Yes, I do. Here we go. Juggernauts. I hope me clicking it works. When you smash an obstacle, a brick wall, go people, build a spot, cavern, the usual. Roll strength. I rolled a 12. Choose 2. My momentum carries me through. Ooh, now I'm not quite sure what I want to go for. Do I want to go for take no damage or cause catastrophic damage to the obstacle scary? Screw it. I cause catastrophic damage to the obstacle, scattering debris everywhere.
And you get to choose 2. You smash through, right?
Yeah, smash through, and I cause catastrophic damage to the cells.
Okay.
Whatever that would do.
Well, it's very clear what that does in a sense. Somewhere else, Gregor, Auden, you suddenly feel and hear the ground shake. As if something in the earth has shook the manor. Like there's dust falling from the ceiling. There's even like almost like a moment where you maybe need to feel like, oh no, I need to reach out to steady myself as the ground rocks and the floor creaks.
That doesn't sound too good.
No, it does not. I'm going to turn, head toward the wall where there's a halberd, that old halberd leaning up against the wall, and I just instinctively know that it's there for whatever reason. And I reach forward, I grab it, and the moment I do, it's almost like you can hear that sort of Foley artist special effect thing. It was like when I grab it, and my hand looks almost completely solid. Actually, now gripping it, and I turn, my eyes burning, and I look at Auden and I say, "Something is terribly wrong down below," and I'm going to turn and go.
Cut, yeah. Like with that close up, we cut back. Sivna, what you see is this brood crashing through the door, like taking like not just through the door, but taking the frame of the stone frame of it with them, and Legionnaire, you take D6 of damage for like breaking through that. Yeah, so that gets completely absorbed by your armor, right?
Woohoo!
You crash through, and I think you even crash through like the next room's wall as well. And there's a wide hallway you find yourself in that leads further down. Sivna, are you actually following how taken aback by this response?
I think there's like still like dust in the air, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to follow them because I'm done. We've exchanged our favors, right? So we're good. What else is in this dungeon? What else is down here? I'm going to take a look around.
Yeah. So, this is where I want to go around with everybody. And what I want to do is, so we'll go around and we'll each name one thing or detail that is either must have once been beautiful but lies in ruin now, and if you want to pick two, you can do both. A thing or detail that you would expect in this kind of place, but is somehow twisted, perverted, defiled, or otherwise clearly wrong. And to give both of you more of a description of where you are. So yeah, down in the dungeon, there's like this long hallway, and there's like multiple cells that will come up, but there's this like a central way that arcs around something in the center of it, and there's bars all around that as well. And we'll get to what is inside there. You can't make that out yet. And up on top, the huge banquet hall that you're in actually extends through the entire manor to the other side. So I'll be able to tell you in a moment what you find on the other side of the house, because there's a balcony, of course, on that side as well. So anybody who has an idea, this can, like, it doesn't need to be fancy, straightforward, first thing that comes to your mind. It's just painting the scene a little bit together.
Well, my idea was that the dungeons aren't meant to be dungeons. I mean, they've been made to be dungeons. Like, they used to be just like a cellar, or just like maybe even like stables under the house, like something just nice and benign, and someone has hammered the steel grates and the iron and the chains into the walls in order to make it into a dungeon.
And I think I like that, because there's like, you find like little stone banks where you could sit down, or like there's all these signs of, well, this was just used in a civil manner before at some point. Yeah.
I'd like to add to that as well. Within the area, like around the area where I came through, is what would essentially be the torture chamber, because as no one builds a dungeon in the middle of a possible cellar without using it for something specifically valueless. And within it are barrel kegs that'll sit there, and the kegs are filled with skeletons of people that have been put within and drowned within the waters within it, not to get them to say what they know. So scattered about the area, nothing but barrels with floating skeletons from dead people that have been tortured within it.
Wow. So, my idea is also a piece of torture equipment.
In the banquet hall.
Oh, not in the banquet. Oh, okay, that was my question. Is I didn't know if we were all talking about. Okay, so we're doing those of us in the banquet hall are naming stuff in the banquet hall. Then you're saying.
Yeah, all part in the manor, but at a different point of it. Yeah.
I'll have to come back to that in a second then.
But I mean, you can do too if you have something to add in the dungeons. That's completely.
I thought we were supposed to come up with stuff in the dungeons, but this is.
Well, let's see your idea for the dungeon, and you can get another one for the manor.
It's kind of weird. But I'm not sure which of the. I'm not sure which of the two options this is. That you gave. It might be a combination of the two. because it's one of those chairs that they put people in, with the various knives and the vises and such attached to it, old and rusted. But somebody has... It is, of course, long disused, but someone has put what looks like a sort of overstuffed, very comfortable stool in front of it, and has painted it with flowers.
Nice. Okay. Auden.
Okay, for the banquet hall, I was imagining like those on the walls. There are those huge, like 20-foot paintings of whoever probably owned this manor, but all the faces are blurred or destroyed or just off.
And I like that. Like it's all old, and the cloth is wearing thin and stuff.
Or like been purposefully destroyed in places. Like
yeah, but the faces are even like all of those are in a different state of decay that's worse.
Yes.
Or it's
It's got like a real Dorian Gray situation going on.
Yep.
I have a banquet hall detail now, if you would like one.
Sure.
Since it's a really big banquet hall, in an area sort of to the side of where we were, but where there's a lot of where one would have a lot of chairs and other, a lot of tables still. There's an area that was cleared, and there was one of those small stage that was clearly looked like a lot of work went into it into building it, but it's mostly wood, so mostly decayed now. And these beautiful lions that have been carved into the side of the proscenium arch are just sort of all now molded and leering and horribly warped. And they're tattered curtains and very sort of musty back area that, of course, we can't see from here, but can definitely smell that there were props and stuff of some kind back there, but there's sort of a little 3/4 stage that juts out, sort of a little, so almost a black box affair, but it basically is a wooden thing with just sort of holes in it, warped, and paint had just long peeled off long ago, and steps leading up to it that are probably old and broken.
Nice. I love that. And yeah, you're moving through the banquet hall towards the other end, while down in the what weren't once dungeons. Sivna, you wanted to go another way than where the
I want to
went,
see
right?
if I can get out of the dungeons.
Yeah, so
or like a set of stairs.
So there's the way the Legionnaire went. There's certainly like some other side hallways that you could go down and look for them, for another way. Before you do that, and before you Legion move on from where you've crashed through, there's like this low, starting very low and long drawn out rumbling and moaning you can hear. It seems very deep and guttural. It's coming from some point ahead of you in the long, bigger hallway, Legion. What do you two do?
I call back and I go, the door is open, but there seems to be many more. Do you wish me to open those as well?
Do you think you can handle it?
I take my body sort of seems to take a deep sigh. And
But we just hear the next crash.
Yes, pretty much. I was like,
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, now that you know like how much force you need to put in, it's definitely, and we've established we don't need to roll again.
True. Also, can I like use the first door as a battering ram to help me go through them?
I mean, the first door is completely obliterated.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Okay, that's
But yeah. You also won't take any more damage. You know how to crash through these now. And as you crash through the next one, you're basically met with the next moaning again, and so the scene that opens up in front of you is it seems to be like that there, it looks almost like a courtyard, but there's a ceiling to it, just for how wide of an open space there is. And in the middle of that open space is there is a thing that's, its bottom is kind of cone shaped, and it takes a while until you realize it's all like lower half of torsos sewn together. They're all like on their knees, and where they kind of meet up, these very so in relation to the bottom, that's really wide in birth, it's kind of spindly, and there are two torsos coming out that are back to back to each other, like that. And they're kind of like leaning over, and they're moaning, and they have like long arms that reach wide and far, that are just hanging over, and long drawn out faces that seem to be like this an edge before waking. And in front of them there's this pedestal, and on that pedestal you see a single flower, a gardenia, standing there, and you're like,
be quiet.
You're awestruck in this moment, seeing that flower in this surrounding
horror.
And as we cut back to the and the thing moves, and one of the faces flicks open their eyes, and there's this guttural moaning sound again. It hasn't like seen you or anything, but that's the situation. As we cut back to the top, and I assume it's Gregor who's taking point, and Auden, you're following him. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would have grabbed the omelet or the amulet as well.
Okay.
I'm hungry apparently.
Seize the omelet of destiny. Oh no.
And as you reach the other end of the banquet hall, where there are stairs leading down, like there's a double stairway that's definitely leading down, you can also see what's beyond the manor. And what's beyond the manor is the land drops. Like, we get this, the camera's flying out, we see you both on this other side on the balcony now, and we see basically that the cliff that the manor is standing on drops off here. So there's the ocean on one side, right? And then immediately the land drops in a deep chasm which is basically filled with like its own layer of clouds, some ways down beneath you, as the entire manor shakes again. And I think that's where we probably end tonight, right? We're running up onto the hour, and we still have to do end of session stuff.
Sure. That is a good cliffhanger.
I don't like it.
I'm perfectly okay with it.
So let me get this straight. It's a bunch of legs, or like sewn together.
Yeah.
And there's 2 giant stretched out torsos on top. Okay.
Yeah. And the entire thing is kind of not man size. The entire thing is like
20 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's real big. Oh.
We'll just have Legionnaire just run through it.
Run through
it.
I got this.
There's your next target. Oh wow. Well,
I don't have a weapon. I didn't pick one up.
Why?
You are a weapon. You're your weapon.
This is going to be awesome. Oh God, there's so many things. That is our first session of.
Not quite. We still need to do end of session stuff.
Indeed. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, because that's like you get rewards for things, right?
Oh crap. Oh yeah, that's right. There are things that happen. Sorry, brain jumped ahead. Go right ahead, sir.
That's okay. That's cool. When you reach the end of each session, PCs get to resolve bonds. I don't know if we have resolved the bond.
I don't think we've had any.
And I usually take this kind of liberally. Like if you feel, my relationship has changed, this bond is kind of on another level. Mm-hmm. Then I also consider that as right. So you can work on this on steps. It doesn't need to be. It's completely irrelevant if it's changed. That's a resolution to rewrite it and reword it a little bit differently. We get to check. Maybe each of you, can you name what's your drive again? Gregor, do you want to start?
Sure. Let me pull myself back up here. My drive is destroy something corrupted by the fall. And I feel like that is something I am preparing to try to do.
Yeah, please come to the dungeon.
Please.
Auden.
Restore something tarnished and ruined. And it seems like I'm in a place that's pretty tarnished and ruined, so there has to be something to fix.
Sivna.
Discover a truth of the world before the fall.
Well, that happened.
Oh,
right?
I did?
I mean, you got the 10 plus on and picked the memory thing, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess I did. So I mark 1 XP.
Yeah, the truth about the truth about the world before the fall was
the celestial bond and the North Stars.
Yes, exactly. Which is like prime lore. That's awesome. And Legionnaire.
I dramatically ignore President, tradition, and history, but I don't think I did any of that, so we're good.
Yep. And then we have special questions for different ones from your usual dungeon questions. And one is, did we destroy something corrupt and dangerous?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, hopefully.
Not there yet.
Did we liberate or create a powerful or useful treasure?
No.
I mean, we liberated ourselves from that dungeon.
I mean, I think that counts. I want
I agree. You're all you liberated Legionnaire, and that's a useful treasure.
I took that amulet, so.
Yeah, definitely. So, these questions are not who did it. It's if anybody of the group did it, the entire group. So you all get 1 XP for that.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Did we learn something important about the world before the fall? Yeah, I mean, definitely. This is first session guaranteed, so it's another XP. And the last question is, did we take a step toward building a new world in the ruins?
No. I think we actually took a step towards destroying stuff in the ruins because Legionnaire keeps running stuff.
Yeah?
I did XP for that too, personally. I'm down.
You mean you first to rebuild, you first need to raise them.
Yeah. You need to try to rebuild, and those doors need to be redone. The cellar.
He's just doing home improvement.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it.
It used to be a cellar, then became a dungeon, and now I'm going to make it into a cellar again, one wall at a time.
I mean, I like subscribe so much to the Blades in the Dark jamming way that, hey, if you all want to take XP for that, you got to sleep with that at night. I don't care. You all agree?
No, I do not agree.
Well, then don't. Then you shouldn't take XP.
I agree for the XP. I only agree for the XP.
I don't think I'm quite ready for raising for urban renewal XP just yet.
Yeah. Thank you. This was an awesome first session. Like, I have scribbled notes that I need to definitely turn into something right away, because tomorrow I won't be able to read them anymore.
Excellent.
But it's got so much material that I can work off of now. Like, I'm really looking forward to exploring and expanding on what we found.
Oh man, this is delightful. This is so delightful. Well, I guess now perhaps is the time for me to attempt to wrap this thing up. First off, thank you all so much for coming and joining me. Here on this fledgling channel, I very much appreciate your coming and playing. This is great. I'm really enjoying this. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I'm going to go back around this episode. I'm going to go back around same order we did when we opened. Just get final thoughts and where can folks find you and that kind of thing. And I'm going to start with Charlie. How are you doing? What'd you think of the game, and where can folks find you?
I had a great time. It's very fun. It seems like it's going to be a pretty dark game, but you all are very fun to play with, so I'm fine with that. You can find me at Twitter at Diet Cream Soda. That's about it.
Excellent. And Rachel, same question.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I do games sometimes. So I'm obviously here every other Saturday, every other Thursday. I'm on Phantom Roll Booth playing Ballad of the Garbage People. That's a Star Wars game. Every Tuesday, I'm on Off the Table playing Urban Shadows. And you can find me on Twitter at r_Omulus. And that's mostly what I do. Besides sleep.
Sleep is good. Sleep is good. Whenever I try to do that whenever I remember, which isn't that often these days.
Also, Charlie and I, after this today, we're on Off the Table playing Monster of the Week one shot.
Yay! Cool.
And
awesome.
I'm back on my bullshit. It's gonna be real bad. Don't tune in unless you want lots of bad jokes.
Excellent. And Lloyd, what about you?
I'm Lloyd. Had a great time. I don't really have anything else. I was going to go to bed. That's my plans, really. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to the next one. I may not be at the next session because I might be at a wedding. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the next one after that. Good luck, guys.
Awesome. And where can folks find you if they want to find you online?
Twitter, right there. I believe you can see it written down in circle. Well, I'm hoping I'm doing this right.
Yep.
I can't see. It's like that, and that's you just find me there. I'm right here. Just yeah.
Excellent, awesome, and I'm going to give my final thoughts in a second. But first, we pass to the GM, Mathias. How you doing?
Very good. I'm up somewhere up there in the clouds because there's so much good material and so much fun to play with all of you, and I'm looking forward to exploring this more and where this is going to go. Because you can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter, and next up on Tuesday, tomorrow on here in A Wicked Age one shot, right?
Yes.
Which you're probably going to talk about a bit in a moment. And on Tuesday on Pro Restarter's channel for the finale of the Sprawl. That's a nice tight game as well. And the last thing I'm going to plug is, because we probably won't be back, on the 17th, the door opens for anybody who wants to participate in GauntletCon in October, which is on the 19th to 21st. We've got like 200 events going on. Like, there's a lot of gaming happening there, all online. Last year when I participated, it was such a good con atmosphere, except you get to stay at home and hang out in a Discord, and you don't get sick from it. It's perfect. I'm going to be running 2 games there as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now it's back to me. That was glorious. I loved it. I am really looking forward to this campaign and seeing what happens, because I feel there's a potential for a lot of pain and sadness, which is wonderful, and also just exploring this kind of a concept. The concept just got better and better the more I thought about it, and seeing it actually played out, my expectations have only been exceeded, and so I desperately want to see what happens next. Awesome job, Mathias. Thank you so much for running this, and
thank you for having me.
Just playing with all of you folks has been awesome. It's really going to be very cool. I'm looking forward to next time, just getting to interact with everybody, and to sort of sink our teeth into this unfolding plot, which is going to be really cool. But stuff happening with me. Well. Tonight, before I do any more broadcasting on this channel, tonight I'm going to be doing a charity stream over at the Cast Together Twitch channel. There's going to be a Cypher System game run by Grant Ellis that I'm going to be participating in. That's tonight at 8 Eastern, and it's for a mental health charity, and suicide prevention is also part, I believe, of what goes on. So it's I think it's a very good cause, and I'm going to be very much looking forward to playing that. I think we're doing a sort of a wuxia type thing, and so I think it's going to be pretty cool. Tomorrow on this channel, we're going to be kicking off our one-shots for the month. And we're going to be doing In a Wicked Age, which Mathias will be participating in this time. And I think which Lloyd will also be participating in the time following, in about a week from tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to be doing that. It's a sword and sorcery game by D. Vincent Baker in a sort of an implied Conan-esque setting. Where the characters are all just have very specific. Again, they have very specific sort of ambitions that will bring them into conflict, and they have to see who emerges. And the thing I really like about it is it's more about why you're doing things as opposed to the actual just beating something with a stick. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And also, again, on Tuesdays, I'm on Off the Table, Tuesday evenings, playing Urban Shadows, where I get to play the cranky doctor and who takes care of supernaturals, and it's very delightful. I love it so much. And once again, still doing video games Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings, and once again, 2 weeks from today, we'll be back here with another episode of the Cold Ruins of Lastlife. So thank you all so much for joining us. It has been a blast so far, and I'm expecting it to keep surprising me. I'm going to very much enjoy seeing what comes up next. So take care, folks, and I will see you all of a sudden. Take care.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out. Appreciate it.